What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another Coffee and KO's Outside the Octagon interview, and we are bringing back our friend, our a dude that I could not be more pumped about for. Like, dude, you don't understand. I'm like sitting in the living room watching your fight the day that it happened. This has been a long time coming. I mean, it's been a couple weeks now, and we've just couldn't link up. We finally got a chance to, but man, when I tell you adrenaline rush from a fan, probably like top 2-3 moment of my life, and that was just insane. We're talking to El Jefe Jeff Molina. Jeff, thanks for taking the time hanging out with us,
My
man.
man, dude, that's awesome to hear. That's probably my favorite thing about the fight was just having teammates and friends and even like the love on social media telling me how exciting that fight was. That means more than Dana giving me a fist bump and giving me like a bottle of Hallerhead. Like that is sick. Like just hearing that from people that means a lot.
I feel bad too. I didn't get to watch it live, which is absolutely criminal, and I apologize for that. And I just watched it for the first time about 20 minutes ago, and I still had goosebumps. Still had goosebumps. It was
Heck yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, I'll forgive you on that one, Steve. But the next one you got to watch live, man.
I
Yeah,
will.
that's awesome to hear, brother.
Dude, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, first round, so like your fight came on right when we're eating dinner, so we're like eating dinner and sitting down, and like we got the TV turned. And the first round, I was so scared. I'm like, man, like, because this dude looked massive. Like, he looked so much bigger than you. Like, it was insane. You guys looked like you're on two different weight classes. And I was like, man, like, it sucks. Like, it's not like you were fighting bad. It was just like kind of figuring him out because he's so much bigger than you. And then when you dropped him, and it was just like, holy shit, like, he's back. And then it was all about who's going to come out round 3. Like, after you dropped him, like, what is round 3 going to be? And it's just like the momentum just totally swung, and it was awesome. Like, it was like a tale of two different fights from the first round and then the rest of the fight. And then just seeing like the fans, people like the one guy that records on our channel, Aaron, he's like one of the biggest critics of all fighters. Like, and he is a massive fan of yours now. And he was screaming that fight is potentially fight of the year. Like, one of the best fights of the year, hands down. It was just an
Heck yeah.
absolute banger.
My man, yeah, that's awesome, dude. There's been some very exciting fights since then. The Barbosa, Shane Burgos fight comes to mind, and then the Reyes, and then the dude whose name I can't pronounce, Yuri something.
Yuri
That fight was a
Prochaska.
banger, but just to even be considered with those other guys, like that's sick.
Yeah, it was insane. So did you feel like in round 2, had you not got that knockdown, do you think it could have swung either way?
Yeah, it for sure would have made the fight a lot closer having not got those 2 knockdowns. Absolutely.
Yeah, because it was literally like 5 seconds left in the second round, and you just scored like a massive knockdown. Then you're on top of him. I don't know if you were able to land a few shots after that, but it felt like that was definitely kind of like the big turning point because round 3 was pretty much all you.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. I got a flash knockdown earlier in that round, which that started the momentum shift, and then also I knocked him down at the end of the second. I really think I could have got him out of there had there been 10 seconds, 15 seconds left. I landed him out, and man, I really think 10 seconds more, and I would have opened up an Xbox logo on his forehead, man. I was ready to. But same can be said for the end of the third, man. I was hurt at the end of the third, so. That's the game. It's what ifs, right? Like, what if there was 10 seconds left at the end of the second, and same thing goes at the end of the third,
And I want to hear, so it was obviously your UFC debut. I want to hear like the whole road from the beginning of you getting there to quarantine to after, and then so Aaron was actually at the event, the first event with fans. No, never mind. That was not it. Was it? Was it?
I think it was.
Yeah.
It was.
First
Yeah.
event with fans. Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
old Florida,
And
dude. They never believed in COVID in the first place.
Yeah.
exactly. And, starting out on that card was 2 women that most people probably don't even know. Like, if you're a casual fan, you don't even know who they are. And they put like the crowd, you would have thought it was a championship fight for that fight, the first fight of the night. Like, take us through the whole thing from the beginning to you getting there, to stepping in the octagon, to getting the win with the crazy crowd. I mean, the crowd was going crazy for your fight. It was just insane.
Man, fight week was awesome, dude. Fight week was sick, and I was trying not to fanboy over anybody, but the second I got there, I started fanboying over everybody. So, you hear the saying like, "Act like you've been here before." That's what I try to do. But the second I saw like Jorge Masvidal or Justin Gaethje, people like I grew up watching Masvidal more than Gaethje, but people I legit was like 14, 15 years old watching on TV. I had a picture of people like that, but the whole fight week was sick, man. Something Grant Dawson said to me, you guys may have heard of him, the day before I left. He was like, man, just smell the flowers, like enjoy fight week. He was telling me that's something he wished he would have done his first couple of UFC fights was just kind of take your time to smell the flowers and enjoy the process. And he was saying he was so goal oriented, and just the win was the only thing that mattered, and that he missed out on some moments. And it was really cool to hear that from him, because I'm kind of in that same mindset as far as like that's kind of how I felt for Contender Series. Like I didn't enjoy fighting, and obviously there were some circumstances that fight week that changed some things, but it was just like I was just so focused on the fight. And it's good to be that way, but it's also like, you know, you kind of earned the spot, so to smell the flowers a little bit. And I feel like I did that, man. I enjoyed the interviews, the media time, the everything fight week, signing posters, all the little stuff, and it was really cool to experience that. And even weigh-ins, man, like ceremonial weigh-ins, the actual weigh-ins, all that was fun. Maybe because it was my first time, but I did keep that in mind, what Grant said to me as far as just smell the flowers a little bit. As far as the fight goes, man, fight day was pretty chill. You know, it was cool having my coaches there this time. That was fucking huge, man. So for Contender Series, my coaches had COVID, so I didn't have coaches that week. So it was really cool to have my corner there and get to do shakeouts with them and get workouts in with them. So fight day was cool. We got some food, headed to the venue. And then, yeah, man, it just kind of felt like another fight, to be honest, as far as like warming up. Obviously, there's more cameras on and stuff, but as I'm warming up, we're watching the first fight go on, and James tells me, he's like, hey, this fight's, you know, it's straw weights. It's probably going to go 15 minutes. And then they started banging like a couple minutes into that fight. We're like, okay, no, there's no way this is going to a decision. So it just made us warm up a little harder, and we were ready to rock right after that fight. And yeah, man, the whole experience was super cool. One thing, I don't want to sound like I'm bitching. It just the fight and the aftermath of the fight just wasn't as I played it in my head. Like it wasn't that big. Don't get me wrong, it was still super cool, but it just having pictured it so many times in my head, it was a little less than that. Not saying it wasn't cool, but the experience was not as cool as I thought it'd be, if that makes sense.
What was missing? Was it because it was maybe like full capacity, but it wasn't completely like full? So maybe like the crowd noise could have been louder, or do you think because it's the prelims, it's not like all the fans are there? Like, what do you think was missing with that?
Dude, I don't know, man. Like, I just and I'm not saying it wasn't cool, because it was.
Yeah.
Man. Obviously, Bruce Buffer announcing you, like, these are all things I pictured before. The walkout, even, like, these are all things I've pictured a million times. I don't know, man. It just, I don't think it was the crowd had anything like had a factor to do with it, but I don't know. It was just maybe I needed like a world title fight to finally like experience the that feeling that I pictured. But I know it sounds like I'm bitching, but I'm not, man. It was cool. It just wasn't like what I pictured in my head. It felt like another fight. So that's the weird part to me. Like it felt like 16-year-old me fighting in front of like 200 people. Like it was just another fight. The goal was the same, and I just thought it would feel different. Obviously, it was cool to look and see UFC on my gloves and have Bruce Buffer announcing me, and have 15,000 people. It probably wasn't 15,000 people when I fought, but like, you know, over 7,000, 8,000 people there, cheering and watching your fight. But it just wasn't what I expected it to be, and maybe that's the mindset you got to have. But I'm hoping a world title feels different when I get there.
Yeah, you're chasing gold. You're like, I need the belt or nothing at this point. Like you already know that you have it. You have all the skills. You have the team behind you. You're like, I just need to touch gold. That's what you're chasing.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling myself, at least, right? I'm young. I'm in a hurry to get there, but that's what I'm telling myself, at least. Maybe I'll get to the world title and be like, oh, maybe this isn't as cool as I thought it'd be, and I'll never.
That would be wild. That would be absurd.
I was going to say, maybe it's, I mean, I wouldn't say it's your mindset, but it's kind of a good thing that it wasn't what you expected, because it kept you kind of like cool and calm, I guess. Like it was just felt like another fight. You know, we see people like and I hate to bring up your teammate, but like Megan Anderson, when we saw what she looked like walking into the arena the day that she was going to fight Amanda Nunes, it was like, oh my goodness, like this girl, you can tell by looking at her that she is, and she's someone who's had so many UFC fights, just none on that caliber level and that stage. And it's like, that is a major part in any sport. Obviously fighting is one of those sports where if you lose, you're losing in front of all these people and all that, where other sports is a little bit different. But, I think having that mindset going into the fight and after the fight is good. It kept you more calm, I would think. And again, like you faced kind of adversity round 1 and rounds 2 and 3, totally different. Oh, and the end of round 3, totally different fight. So, I mean, I think that's, an unintentional great mindset.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But again, bringing up Grant Dawson, he has the same mindset or the same experience. I was like, I really thought the first UFC fight was so different because I felt the same way for Contender Series. And this is something I even asked him. I was like, dude, it just felt like another fight. Like, it just felt like the warm-up was the same. Like, I wasn't trying to win any more than I was when I was 15, 16, having kickboxing fights in front of, like, X amount of people in a hillbilly bar. Like, the goal was the same. So I just thought it would feel different, but Grant said the same thing, man. He said that there's just fights at the end of the day, and they're all going to feel that way, and that maybe a world title will feel different. So, yeah, maybe that is the mindset you got to have, and that's at least what I'm telling myself.
That's because the Glory guys are cold-blooded. They don't care. They'll fight anywhere, anyone,
Killers.
anytime. Doesn't matter.
Let's go. I like that.
What does it feel like in that 5-second span when they have both your hands about to be raised, you don't know which one it's going to be, and he's reading off the scorecards? Like, did you feel pretty confident when it was like 29-28? Like, it went 29-28, and the third one was 29-27. I kind of confused me for a second, but I think they had given you the 10-8 at the end there. But was there any doubt when that was going through, or did you expect your name to be called?
Yeah, there was a little bit of doubt, man. I asked James, and right after the fight's over, like, he's the first person I see, and I'm like, I got that right. And he's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. So hearing, yeah, I'm pretty sure is not that reassuring.
Yeah.
And plus he's my coach, so he's a little, subjective and or biased. And yeah, man, I wasn't sure. And I was also pretty fucked up. I got clipped very, very, probably the hardest I've ever been clipped, and I was for sure rocked at the end of the fight. I actually didn't come back to until like 15 minutes after the fight. So that Joe Rogan interview is pretty blurry. I was pretty messed up, man. Just wasn't the smartest decision to point at the ground and just slug, right? When you do that, the odds become 50-50. In a round, I'm clearly dominating, 10-8ing up until that point. And yeah, it just, I'm not sure why I did that. And dude, funny enough, I picture that, I do a lot of visualization, and every time I would go on a run, not every time, but I would picture that sometimes, just like you hear the 10-second clapper, you point to the ground and you just duck your head, bite on your mouthpiece, and start swinging. And when you do that, man, even if I'm dominating that round, the odds are 80-20 at that point, maybe 90-10. And then the second you do that, it becomes 50-50. And I got clipped, man. I was hurt. So yeah, I wasn't sure if I got that, especially not really being there. But yeah, it was cool to get my hand raised, man. Like, winners win, and I found a way to win. Obviously the fight was more competitive than I like it to be, but I'm just glad I got the debut as a winner. That's an important one. And I'm very critical of my performance, but I'm just going to address the mistakes that were made in the fight and get better from this, man. I think I got 15 minutes of cage time, which is very valuable at the highest level of the sport. So I'm just going to learn from this, man. And there's no point of harping on the fight. I just do what I can and get better.
Let's be honest. We all want to be Max Holloway. Like, I think that's the most badass thing ever. That's like one of the greatest clips ever. The Ricardo Lamas and Max Holloway, when they just stand in the middle of the octagon and Max is pointing. I mean, come on. If I'm your coach, I guess I'm probably mad. Like, if I'm James, I'm probably like a little upset you did it. But like from a fan standpoint, that's probably the most badass thing that you could do, aside from what Max did against Calvin Kattar.
Yeah, it's even cooler when it's not successful and you don't get fucked up. But me and James had a couple laughs over it. Obviously, not going to do that again. But I'm not sure why I did it. I'm not sure if the crowd had a factor in it, or if I was just feeling myself after kind of touching them up in that third. Or I think it's just like my style is just entertaining, and something told me to do it, and I did it. And I'll learn from that, man. It won't happen again. But funny enough, you mentioned Max Holloway. Did you guys see that video I put on my story? It was like when you order Max Holloway on Wish, and it was me pointing
Yeah.
to the ground and getting fucked up. I thought that was perfect, man. A fan sent that to me, and I was like, oh man, that is awesome. I need to post that.
Go ahead, Steve.
No. Well, I was just going to kind of transition it a little bit. So obviously, this was an incredible fight. That obviously leads to the 50K performance bonus, not the performance bonus. It was the fight of the night bonus, but that's incredible. You must have been absolutely pumped. Did you know that was going to happen? Like so early on in the prelims too, and a lot of fights go on afterwards, but were you kind of surprised at all that they had picked you to get that?
You on our show said you were going to do it.
True.
I don't know if you remember, but on our show, you said that you were going to get the 50K bonus and then that you were going to go get your tattoo. You're going to go eat at this steakhouse, and you're like, maybe I'll buy a gaming PC. You said it on the show, and you made it come to fruition.
I think all of that happened.
I manifested it, man. Yeah, I don't remember saying that, but it sounds like something I'd say. I did get a tattoo, a little gladiator that I've been planning on doing for some time now. Goes with the Roman Coliseum, so I did that part. Instead of getting a gaming PC, I got an Oculus, a little VR headset. Me and some buddies from the gym get on that and play every now and then. So yeah, that's been pretty cool. But yeah, man. What was the question? Some fight of the night.
What was it like winning 50K?
Yeah, just in general.
Yeah,
that's sick.
So, dude, I didn't. I had my fingers crossed the whole night. Like, they didn't allow us to stay in the venue after the fight. It kind of shipped us back to the hotel, which was a bummer because I wanted to do that's like a historic event. First time back with fans. So I didn't want to stick around, but because of COVID, they didn't want the fighters going out there with the fans. So they brought us back to the hotel. We were lucky enough that they paid for the pay-per-view, so like the fights were already playing when we got back to the hotel, but we were just watching every fight in my room, and I was like hoping every fight would be super fucking boring. That way, it's tough to do that because like you got 3 title fights, and some of those were gonna be bangers. But yeah, man, still fortunate enough to have gotten that bonus.
Is there anything specific you plan on doing with the 50K? I mean, we know that there's taxes on it and everything else, so it's never actually 50K. And were you pissed off at the next live event? They were 75K.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah. It was kind of a bummer seeing the next event had 75K, but I'm still grateful to get 50. Man, the bonus still hasn't cleared yet, so when it does, I think. I'm going to talk to James. I've already talked to him a couple of times. I'll take him out to lunch and we'll talk about what we're going to do with it.
Cryptos? Cryptocurrencies?
Little Bitcoin, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. I already got a good chunk of change in crypto, so I might have to.
So afterwards, you get the 50K bonus. Now we're already like a month off of that fight. Did you kind of take it easy afterwards, or are you kind of just right back into the gym, already looking for the next fight? Like, what's gonna kind of happen next year?
Yeah, I went into that fight a little banged up. Just addressing those injuries now, and depending on, I got a follow-up appointment at the orthopedist on Tuesday, and depending on what they say is what I'll do. But I've been in the gym, man, doing what I can. I love this. Like, this is what I do, and I get to wake up every day and do what I love and train and be with my buddies at the gym and just having a good time, man. So yeah, I'm still at the gym every day, just doing what I can as far as doing the practices and working out. But I'll figure out on Tuesday as far as how early I can get back in there.
Do you get Memorial Day off?
So I thought practice was at 10 a.m. this morning. It was an open mat instead at 9. So I didn't realize that until I was about to have the house at 9:20. So didn't get to practice this morning, but I still got to work out in like an hour or two ago.
Are you doing anything for Memorial Day?
Man, I think we're gonna barbecue. I think we're gonna do a little barbecue. It's raining outside a little bit, but we'll find a way to get her done.
Did Bruce Buffer give you a welcome, like when you got in the octagon, like he does his traditional like welcome to the UFC, gives like fist bump type thing? Did he do that to you?
Yeah, sort of. Like when he's introducing me, like I know he does this to everyone, but it felt special for me. But he like looks you. He looks you in the eye. Yeah, dude, he looks you in the eyes, and he's saying your name, and he's like Jeff, and he's like nodding his head, and I'm nodding back, and I almost went for the fist bump. then what ran through my head was like, usually people lose when they give them the fist bump. Like I think that's like a stat.
Do they? Is
But
that
it
a
could be
stat? Is that a
maybe.
stat?
I think maybe I'm making that up. But I swore I saw that once, like on Twitter. Like the people that fist bump them usually lose. Like there's a stat to it. So I almost gave him the fist
Shit.
bump, but decided against it. But still, I definitely did feed off that energy, man. Like my teammate Julian Marquez is a huge believer on feeding off the energy. So you know, I talked to him about my debut hundreds of times leading up to the fight, especially since we were supposed to do it back in November and then January, and then it finally happened last month. But yeah, man, he told me since I was the first event in front of fans, like before you get into the arena, or not the arena, but the cage itself, just you know, lift your arm up and kind of feed off energy. So you know, I told him I'll try it. You know, I'll do anything once. So I tried it, and I'm not sure if I did feel that energy, or maybe it's a placebo effect, but I felt something. And the same could be said for when Bruce Buffer was announcing me. Like I definitely felt something, some energy, or I'm not sure what it was, but it was pretty cool.
Are you superstitious at all? Like you mentioned like the fist bump and you're like, maybe I shouldn't do the fist bump. Like, do you kind of play into superstitions at all? Like anything that you do before you fight that you always have to do, or anything like you avoid?
Nah, man,
Yeah.
I try not
Fist
to
bumping Bruce.
I try not to keep too many traditions, like fight week traditions. So I'm not very superstitious, but I'm damn sure not risking it on my UFC debut, man.
I
No
want to
lucky
get
charm
this
or
stat.
anything?
You got to send us this stat, because I mean, obviously we gamble on sports, and I want to know this stat so I can live bet. I did not know this
Look
was
it
a
up, dude.
thing.
This must have
I'm
been
Googling it
a
right
couple of
now.
years ago that I saw this. It was like most people that fist bump Bruce Buffer lose, and also it's like most people that don't fist bump their opponent when it's offered to them lose too. Like it was a stat like that.
I also got to give you guys a shout out, like you, Minner, and Grant, because like you guys come on the show, and I feel like prior to you guys fighting, like we were on this streak where every person we interviewed was losing. So we're like, man, like we don't want to interview these guys anymore because we don't want them to lose. But you guys all broke that now, so I think we're back on the good
I'm
side.
glad you didn't share that stat with me. I might have not hopped on. No,
See. I mean, it's not your debut anymore. You're good now. And the thing is, with the division you're in, realistically, if you put on another 2-3 good performances, like you can be skyrocketed to a belt. Like, does that excite you to talk, like to think about?
Yeah, man. That's really cool. Like in this flyweight division, it's like you're only 1 or 2 fights away from being ranked. I mentioned earlier, I'm not in a rush, man. I'm 23 years old, and
yeah,
I'm still on that contender series contract. So if you want me to fight top 5 people, I want to get paid top 5 money. I'm gonna be smart with my career, man. I don't want the Edmund Shabazian career.
Man, yeah.
I'm in no rush, man. I know I'm good enough to fight these top 5 people, but I definitely want to be compensated for that. And I'm in no rush, man. I'm gonna get better just for fighting. If I have to fight every single person in this division on my way to a title, I'll do that. And that way I get better, and I'm not being rushed in my career. I'm fortunate enough to have a coach like James Krause, who's very smart when it comes to matchups and just the fight game in itself. So I'm just gonna do what he tells me to do and follow orders. So
just real quick, so you guys know like the Madden cover curse?
Yeah.
Like this UFC, the Madden cover curse?
Oh, Madden,
yeah. So obviously that's a thing, and then like I guess right under that, from this UFC like forum or something, the Bruce Buffer fist bump is apparently
that's
the kiss
number
of death.
2. Wow, that's crazy. So we should just live bet anyone that fist bump.
Not touch.
Buffer.
No fist bumps.
Never.
Yeah.
Don't ever fist bump Bruce. I'm sorry, Bruce. I know that you're legend of the game, but you're messing people up here.
What is the exact stat? Does it say? Is it like 90% of people lose or something crazy?
No, I can't find the stat. It's just like a random like UFC forum, and a ton of people talk about curses, and they're saying the fist bumps in there. No stats though. I'll try to get into that later.
Did you get any people to talk shit to you? Like, has anyone like since your fight, like has anyone like tried to be a hater or try to cramp your style?
Yeah. I mean, that's how you know you're doing well, right?
Those are the best.
Like, the DMs coming in.
I love it, man. I love it. And some of them are funny. Some of them I'll repost because They're pretty funny. I did an interview with Laura. That was the first interview I did, Laura Sanko, right after the fight, and I was still like super fucked up, man. Like I didn't come back to until right after that interview. So I do the medicals. Again, not really there. Like I'm still on a different planet. Like I'm on Pluto, and they're like, hey, you got like 3 or 4 interviews set up. You got Laura, you got ESPN Deportes, blah blah blah. You got 2 more, and I was like, give me a sec. Like so, I just sat in that chair for like 10 minutes. And then James is like, hey, man, like, we don't know how quick this next fight's going to go. We don't want his fight to be over and then kind of take your spotlight or like, you worked for this, like you earned this. So I was like, all right, I think I'm good. So I did that interview with Laura. Again, not still fully there. And apparently I'm like swaying the whole interview. Like I'm just moving around a lot. The adrenaline's through the roof. And again, I'm pretty concussed. So people on YouTube were just trolling me, dude. They're like, my man Dan Salsa. Like one of the comments was like, my man Dan Salsa the entire interview, and it had like 400 likes. Like things like that are funny as fuck. But yeah, also in like DMs, people are just being trolls, and it's cool, man. Like
trolls,
I don't take
they're the best.
Dude, I don't take it to heart. Like I've had a couple teammates like have a itch about the trolls, and that's just the internet, man. You kind of got to accept that, and you can't take any of that stuff to heart. These guys are just on their couches and eating potato chips, and I get to do what I love every day. So I'm winning that life while they're not.
Like that fight could go a million different ways, and there will be a troll there waiting, no matter what happens. Every single time, doesn't matter. 100%. They will always be there.
You knock the dude out with a Jorge Masvidal flying knee, and there's still gonna be someone talking shit. So
Ben Askren gets shit every single day for that.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
And the fact that he lost to Jake Paul.
Yeah, that too. He's never.
That might be earned. That might be one that.
Lifelong trolling there.
Let's be honest though, he was definitely the smarter man. He went out there, 100%. Deked it, got his I don't even think he got hit that. Like he kind of faked it.
I think he got hit.
It was like a little bit of both. I think.
Yeah, I think so too. But he got paid more than most UFC fighters would ever get paid. So
exactly.
Shout out to Ben Askren.
Yeah, seriously, he was actually the smarter guy, and he's like really into Bitcoin. He's like a nerd, like a low key nerd. But what's your dog's name?
His name is Alfie, man. I got him the week right after the fight, or that same week, I think, actually.
On the plane? Did you bring him on the plane?
Homie, man. No. As soon as we landed, so we went to we drove from Jacksonville to Orlando. We were there for a couple days, and then we went from Orlando to Miami for a couple days, and then as soon as we flew back home, we picked him up.
Is that your first dog?
Third.
All right.
We had a lot of terrier as a family dog growing up, and always wanted another one, man. They're super they're cute as shit. Well, they're like so ugly they're cute, they're not actually cute, and they're super chill, man.
And I was gonna say it's obviously a lot of responsibility for a dog. Like that's not gonna take away from the training, right?
No, man. I didn't realize how much responsibility a pup is, man. Like,
it's a lot. It's a lot.
I was like, dude, I'm not sure if I want kids. Like,
it's literally like a stepping stone to a baby.
Sometime in the future, but definitely way down
Dogs
the road,
are
man.
Easier. Dogs are easier than kids.
Yeah, and way less expensive, I hear.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it all. Yeah, I mean, it depends. Vet bills are.
I'm not sending
cheap.
Alfie to college, man. That's true.
that's a good point.
Well, my parents didn't pay for my college, so I mean, I paid for that myself. So, what did you eat? I got to know, what did you eat the second that the fight's over? You're sitting in the room. Everyone always says pizza. Was it pizza and fights? Pizza, wings, fights?
Yeah, it was exactly that, man. Yes, pizza, wings, and some soda. It was like Pepsi or something.
Did you have to get the bill though? Like
I did get
after
the bill,
that?
Yeah.
Oh.
I did, but of course I doesn't take the bill, man. These are my homies, my coaches. I'm not gonna make them pay for it. But yeah, it was cool, man. We just chopped it up and watched the fights and was hoping they all submitted each other and not impressively, or it was boring. That way I could get the bonus. And even then, man, at the end of the night, after all those bangers, like it was Masvidal, even Shevchenko's performance, like I thought she could steal my my not fight of the night, but she would have got like if they was done all performance of the nights and no fight of the nights. That way that I don't have to pay 2 people, But excuse me, I was lucky enough to outclassed or outshowed Shevchenko. I even got a picture with her the morning afterwards, and I went up to her and I'm like, hey, can I get a picture with you? My buddy flew out from Boston I think we talked about my buddy Tyler before.
North Reading.
Boston. Yeah, North Reading. He came out there and was like, hey, I kind of want a picture of Shevchenko. And he was kind of like shy about it. Oh, let's go up there. So I got a picture with her and I told her, I'm like, hey, I think you should have got the bonus. And she was like, yeah, I agree, but you stole it from me. And we laughed about it.
She was like, yeah, give me the 50,000. You're like, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. She doesn't need it. She's a champ. She gets champ money.
She's good.
Yeah. I agree. She gets champ money. And they do that a lot. Is just give it to the champs who are already making upwards of 6 figures. So I'm glad they didn't do that this time.
Yeah, what's crazy, you look at the list, it's like, okay, you see Rose's name, you see Kamaru Usman's name, and then at the top there's Jefe Molina, and I can't pronounce the other guy's name, but that's obviously amazing company to have.
Yeah. You pronounce his name Archie Long, which is like, it sounds super American, but that's the way you say it. I did an interview with this dude's name is John. He's a reporter from South Korea. And I didn't figure out how to say his name until the week before the fight, and I was butchering it all leading to the fight. So Archie Long is how you say that dude's name.
Wow.
Was he a cool dude? Like after, like, did you guys have any interaction after the fight? I mean,
yeah, I saw him in the hotel the same night of the fight. He was drinking, and I was trying not to drink. I was like, I'm not drinking tonight, man. I don't really drink or party much. I usually do after fight, just the night of the fight. But I was telling myself, I got pretty fucked up there in the last 10 seconds. I'm pretty concussed. Don't really want to drink. But we went back to the hotel room, and James wanted to take a shot of Hallerhead just to celebrate. And I was like, I can't say no to that. One shot turned into 2, and I was like, all right, I'm stopping there. And then my buddy Julian Marquez came out from KC to watch me fight. He comes up to the hotel room. He's like, hey, let's go down to the hotel lobby. And there were a bunch of fighters down there. Justin Gaethje was down there, Mick Maynard, Sean Shelby, and they're like, Jeff, how you doing, man? And they're getting pretty wasted, and they're like, hey, will you take a shot with me? And I was like, sure. I'm not going to say no to my bosses. Like, can't say no to that. So I take a couple shots of mezcal. I've never had that before. It tastes like gasoline, and next thing you know, I'm pretty tipsy. And then I see my opponent, and he's also having a good time. His face was a little beat up, so I don't blame him for drinking. But yeah, I mean, I just we didn't speak the same language, but we had one of his coaches translating, and it was just like, man, it was it was a great fight. It was a good scrap, man. Like, you're tough as nails, and we'll probably be seeing each other in the future.
Does that usually happen a lot? Like, if you're even have a bad fight and your face gets all like banged up, you can't even see, like, do you still just kind of like go out and kind of get a little hammered? Maybe it takes the pain away a little bit. Is that like pretty typical right after a fight, no matter what?
Yeah. I'm fortunate enough to never been like too banged up, like physically, but yeah, that's kind of a thing. Like, I've seen teammates do, coaches do when we go out after their fights, and even if they are a little banged up, nothing a little bit of tequila can't fix. What was super cool was Gaethje's in the hotel lobby, and he comes up to me. He's like, dude, your fight was awesome, man. Like, your fight was and then he like starts counting on his fingers. He's like, your fight was my first, third. was my 4th favorite fight of the night, or 3rd favorite fight of the night. He's like, because Rose fought teammate of his, and then there was another teammate of his, Kamaru. So he's like, yours was my 3rd favorite fight of the night. Like, my man, dude, like, that's awesome. Like, having Justin Gaethje tell you were his 3rd favorite fight of the night after his teammates. It's pretty cool, man.
Dude, Gaethje seems like one of the coolest guys to hang out with. He's just, he's like just out there. He's so different.
Yeah, and getting to see him pretty drunk was cool too, man. He was on one.
That's hilarious.
So my last question. So you were saying how, like, at the end of the 3rd round you were fucked up, and then you basically didn't, like, you were messed up for another 15 minutes. What is that feeling like? Like, if you could put it into words, like, so like when someone tells me I was fucked up, I think like you were hammered, you were hot, something like that. What is that feeling like where you, like, because you're doing all these interviews that you weren't even fully there?
Yeah, it's a strange feeling, man. I can't say I've experienced that before. That was for sure the hardest I've ever been hit. I don't think I've ever been rocked in a fight either. Maybe like my first kickboxing fight, I was 15. I took a head kick straight to the dome. It was like a flash that I saw inside my head. That was probably the hardest I've been hit leading up to this last fight, where I did the point down thing and got fucked up. But yeah, it's strange, man. It's I don't know how to describe it. It's I wouldn't say it's similar to being like intoxicated, but it's just like things are going really fast and in slow-mo at the same time, if that makes any sense. Like, and then yeah, you also don't remember much afterwards. Like, you're there while it's happening, obviously, but then afterwards you're like, what happened? Oh man, let me tell you guys about blowing off Megan Fox.
You blew off Megan Fox?
Dude, I don't know.
And what about Machine Gun Kelly? Does he know about
definitely
this?
not something I'm bragging. No, man, he wasn't there, but I'm definitely upset about this. So I'm getting my medicals done. This is right after the fight, and Megan Fox passes by, and she goes, "Congratulations, man, that was a great fight." And I just kind of look over my shoulder and I'm like, "Oh, thank you." I turned back.
You didn't know who she was because you were fucked up.
Exactly, man. I thought it was just some very, very attractive woman telling me congrats, and I was like, "Oh, thank you." And then I turned back to the doctor, who's like somewhat young, and he's like, "Dude, you know that was Megan Fox, right?" I'm like, "Fuck," you know. Like, I was like, "Dude, I blew it. I blew it." Yeah, that was a bummer, man.
Oh man, that's something
Wow.
we'll never forget.
Yeah, man. High school
Damn.
Jeff would have fainted like Megan Fox, you know, or middle school Jeff, I should say. Whenever Transformers came out, that was like my crush, man.
I mean, yeah, I think that's every guy's crush. I don't think if there's a guy that doesn't think Megan Fox is attractive, they're lying to you.
Yeah, 100%. Another thing I blew, obviously because I was concussed, was I had this this call out all set up, man. During my Joe Rogan interview, I was going to call out Elon Musk.
Oh,
and Benil Dariush stole that, man.
He stole it.
I legit. So again, Julian Marquez, king call outs, called out Miley Cyrus, called out Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, you know, and Tyreek Hill, and they've all been successful call outs. So I was gonna steal a page from his book, and I had been working on it for a good amount of time, man. Probably about like a week or two before the fight. Every time I was taking a shower, I would say it. Like, I planned it out and I was practicing it. Had it all down to a science, man. And yeah, I was gonna call him out, and then as Joe pulls me in, I'm looking at him and I'm like, dude, I'm too fucked up to try this. Like, I'm gonna sound like an idiot if I try it. So I didn't shoot my shot because I know it would sound stupid if I were to try it. And then Benil Dariush does it a week or two later, almost like verbatim of how I was gonna say it. Like, we were at B-Dubs with Grant and some of the teammates because they fought that night. So we were at Buffalo Wild Wings and we just watched Dariush's fight, and he's getting his post-fight interview, and he starts calling out Elon Musk almost exactly the same way I was gonna do it. And I told my boys like how I was gonna do it. So like Grant looks at me like, dude, he's doing your call out. And I'm like, no fucking way, man. I threw my hat on the floor and I'm just super salty. But yeah, man, I was gonna call out Elon Musk and try to be try to get sponsored by him. He's part of like Endeavor now, and Endeavor owns the UFC. So I had it all planned out, man. I was gonna try to get a free Tesla and work with Elon Musk.
Dang, dude. Now you got to rethink an entire new scheme for the next fight.
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos.
Like, I had, and it was perfect timing too, man, because it was like a week or two before he was on SNL, and he was popping on social media, you know, tweeting about crypto all the time, and it was just perfect timing, and I blew it, man. I blew it. I don't know if I think that one's worse than the Megan Fox thing. Like that one, because I had worked on it so hard, you know, like every time I take a shower after practice, and I practice like 2-3 times a day. So for 2 weeks straight, a couple times a day, I was like talking it out and doing it down. I had it down to a science, man, and just blew it.
Dang.
Bezos. Jeff Bezos next.
Battle of the Jeffs.
I think that'll
Battle
help.
of the Jeffs.
Yes.
Jeff
There
Bezos,
you go.
Jeff Molina. Let's get
Jeff
it.
squared.
Yeah, we should cut this part out just in case.
Okay.
That's true. That's a good idea.
Dariush hear it. Dariush might listen. He might hear it, and then he's got
Dariush
he's got
is my
2
guy,
billionaires.
Dude, and he got a Tesla. So he actually got the Tesla from Elon Musk.
Did he get it for free? I thought he had like ordered it.
I think so. I think he had ordered it, and it was like hadn't been shipped or something, but they got him one like immediately. So I'm not sure if it was.
Dude, you could have had a Tesla for free too. You would
That's
have
like
been
my
hooked
dream
up.
car, man. I'm obsessed with Teslas, man. Like,
And 50K is not going to cut it. You need more than 50K.
50K is more like 15, 20K, and you can't afford a Tesla with that. So,
damn.
Yeah, it's a bummer, man. I am obsessed with Teslas. Like, I am infatuated. I drove a Tesla. We rented one off Turo. It's like Airbnb for cars.
Yeah, I've used that.
And dude, after driving one like for a couple of days, I was like, I need this in my life. Like, this will be my next car. So I follow the subreddit. I look at it every day. People post their new Teslas every day, and I'm like, this will be my next car. I know everything about it, man. Like, yeah. So next time I'll make it done.
You're gonna do it.
I'll manifest it like I did the fight of the night.
Exactly.
I will have a Tesla as my next car.
Buy some Dogecoin, talk to Elon, you'll be rich.
Listen,
To the
I've been told that Doge is gonna go actually like through the roof here again soon because everything crashed. So I mean, I don't know shit about crypto, but my
Buy the
sources are telling me that it's time to invest. If you want to make if you want to double, triple your money really quick, put it in Doge because it's gonna go up.
I'm hoping so, man. I got some money in Doge.
All right, there
We
we
need
go.
a Jeff Molina coin. Maybe
I'm
a Glory
into it.
MMA
Let's make it
coin.
happen.
El Jefe. El Jefe.
So,
That sounds like a
yeah,
dope
let's
coin.
go. I don't know what the process is of getting
Talk
a
to
coin,
Kraus.
but
He'll know.
yeah, he'll probably know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a crypto guy, Kraus. I see it
He
on
is,
his
man.
story.
He's big. He's big into crypto. He actually got me invited to this Discord that's has a couple of UFC fighters in it. I think it's like mostly UFC fighters that this page does. It's called Direct Options, but they do stocks and crypto advice, and they post daily, and it's made me some money. So I just do what they say. If they say invest in an altcoin or a certain stock, I'll do that, and I'll sell when they tell me to sell, and it's worked, man. It's pretty cool to make some money from your
Feel
phone.
free to share some coins if you
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah.
My last question actually is, if you wanted to go to a UFC event, do you guys get like, I don't know, we haven't had many where there's fighters there obviously because no fans, but do fighters get in like for free? Because it's technically you work for the company, right? Like
I
feel like
think
you should.
unless it's a Connor card, 'cause apparently you got to be like A-list to get into a Connor card, I hear.
You had Megan Fox talking to you. You are A-listed,
That's
bro.
pretty A-list, right? Yeah. Maybe if I would have
I would say
responded
so.
to her in a similar fashion, I would go. But yeah, I hear as long as it's not like a Connor card, you can reach out to your management. Maybe they can reach out to somebody from UFC, and they'll get you some tickets, I hear.
That's pretty sick. I always wondered that because I was like UFC, it's not like a pro, like you guys don't get paid like other sports, so like still dropping that money on a card or a ticket is still, it like still resonates with you because you guys obviously don't make millions and millions of dollars like other sports. Like you can't just say, oh yeah, I'm gonna drop $1,000 on a UFC ticket, like no big deal, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I 100% agree, man. There's definitely some perks in other professional sports that we don't have, but I still think we got the coolest job.
Oh, Venom gear sick too, right? You like it better than
Yeah, dude. I
it's
never
way
got to
nicer than
experience
Reebok.
Well, he has to say
That's
it
what I
is.
hear. That's what I hear. I never got to experience the Reebok gear, which kind of sucks. I was supposed to a couple times, but didn't. But from what I hear from my coaches, James and my teammates, they're like, dude, the Venom gear is just better quality. Like it's meant to last, as to where like you wash a Reebok shirt twice and it's gone.
Steve, you got anything? Anything else?
Last question I had. Ultimate Fighter's coming back tomorrow. Are you excited? You're going to watch it?
I am, man. Yeah. I've always been a fan of the Ultimate Fighter, despite what people say. I do like the Contender Series format a little more, just because it's less reality TV show-ish and more of just, what we like, what the people want, fights. But I do enjoy Tough. It's dude, it's tough, right? It's that name is rightfully fitting. And man, being in the house with James has talked to me about Tough experience a couple times, and sucks. It sounds super shitty, fighting every week or every other week and having to cut weight that many times and being in a house with a bunch of people you're gonna have to try to beat up, and they're gonna do the same to you. That whole experience is shitty, and I think it's probably the toughest reality show there is. Like probably worse than Survivor. Like that's tough. It's its own version of Survivor. Like that sucks, man. I couldn't imagine cutting weight that many times. That quick. So I'm excited for it. And is it 35 or 45? Do you guys know?
45, I believe.
45.
Yeah, I don't know.
They have the middleweights too, don't they?
Yeah, there's two weight classes because Brian Pooh Bear Battle is he records on our channel sometimes and he's on Tough.
Oh hell yeah. That's sweet, man.
I think he's a heavier dude.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, probably like an 85er.
Yeah, he's a bigger dude. But producer Carrie sitting over here to my right. Do you have any questions?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, man. Hey, we really appreciate the time. We'd love to have you back on here in the future. Once you get a fight announcement, maybe you come on, make some picks with us. It's always fun talking to you. And again, congratulations on a hell of a debut in the UFC. one win down, many more to go in a long career ahead of you. Super pumped for you, man. And again, thanks for taking the time on this Memorial Day.
Heck yeah. Thank you, fellas. It was fun as always.
All right, guys, if you liked what you heard, hit that subscribe button. You can go to sheathunderwear.com, use promo code Coffee and KOs, get 20% off your entire purchase. Best underwear in the world. Don't forget it. Go get yourself a pair. And also, you can find us on all podcasting platforms at Coffee and KOs. And we will see you all next time.